Okay, let's start by understanding what are variables. We use variables to store information in them. Variables could be numbers, characters, booleans, and arrays. Okay, let's start by numbers or primitive data types. Numbers have 6 versions: byte, short int, or long float double. Int is like a number, for example, 1 or 2. Long will be a number, but it is very big, like 1 million. Float has a point inside of it, like 1.1, and double has a longer number after the point, for example, 1.123, and so on. Don't worry, we will talk about it a lot during our course. Let's start by creating a new project and name it whatever you want. For example, Introduction to Kotlin. Here in the project window, App, Java. In the first folder, let's open the main activity and close these windows. Okay. Now, after the Set Content view, I will start to create a variable. For creating variable, we need to use a keyword called var. After var, I want to call my variable, for example, a. So I am going to define a variable with the name a. And I want it to be of type. By these two dots, I'm going to define the type of my variable. For example, integer. Okay, and I can initialize it by saying equal to, for example, 1. So I have a variable named a of type int with the initialized value 1. Now let's see how we can print the variable a and see what's the value inside of it. I will say log dot, you can use as the recommended IDE. I as information, D as debug, and E as exception. Here I will use D with the tag, for example, my number. I can search my log with this my number tag, and the message that I want to write, for example, my number is, okay, plus the variable that I want to print, a. Now I will run the app, and to see my log, I will click on logcat. Here you can see a lot of lines which is talking about the emulator. But I will just copy this tag, my number, and paste it inside of this edit text. Okay, now after the application is run, I can see this line with the desired value that I want to see. Okay, so my application is run and launched, and now I can see the message with this tag and the message that I have written with the value of my variable a. Okay, great. Let's open the logcat and close the logcat. Here I can define a variable b, and this time of type, for example, float. Okay, I have a variable b of type float. Let's initialize it 1 point, for example, 2. But don't forget to use f after the variable. So it means that variable b is of type float. Let's create another variable, var, this time name it c, of type long. And as I said, long will be a big number, like a million with 60. Okay, so we store a number inside the int type, 1.2 inside float, and a big number like 1 million inside long. Now let's see where we can store a float like this, which is more precise than this float b. Let's assign it to var, call it d, and this time of type double is equal to this. So more precise type of float will be stored in double. Now that we know about numbers, let's see how we can store a string inside a variable like this. For example, let's put a string inside this like Android, and this time I need a var. Let's call it E, this time of type string is equal to the Android text. So to put a text inside a var, we need to make it of type string. Notice that I use in int with I uppercase, float F uppercase, long L is uppercase, and for double and string just like this. Great. Now that we know how to declare a variable of type that we want according to the type that we want to initialize our variable, let's see how we can perform operations on them.